I had very high expectations coming into my first time playthrough of Shenmue, and I've walked away with some very mixed feelings. Like a noob waltzing into a dojo for the first time, and getting his ass handed to him by those who have dedicated their lives to perfecting their craft, I oftentimes found myself out of my depth, grasping at different aspects of the game that could live up to the praise I've been hearing over the last 20 years. If you watched my first time playthrough series on Shenmue, you already know that I don't hate the game. The opposite is true, actually. I appreciate it for the time it came out in, and I have no regrets in having finally experienced it. It's just that I would never, under any circumstances, recommend it to anyone. I have a much higher tolerance for bullshit in games than most, and if there is any demographic that has no tolerance for bullshit in games, it's gamers. Especially modern gamers. And let me tell you, there is a lot of bullshit in Shenmue. In Shenmue, you take control of Ryu and live a part of his life. And not just the cool parts of his life where he takes on the biker punks at the rundown bar, flirts with cute Japanese girls, and rubs elbows with some of the masters of martial arts. No, you are also there with Ryu through all of the crap, conversing with people you don't want to talk to, curfews, working, and without a doubt, the most offensive of all, waiting. Waiting for the bar to open, waiting for the store to open, waiting for the bus, hell, even waiting to go to bed. For multiple missions, you are asked to return the next day to complete the task at hand. So you make your way back home, to go to bed, only to not have the option to go to bed. Why is this? Because you have to wait until 8 to go to bed. So you tell yourself, okay, let's walk around and see if there are any side quests or tasks I can preoccupy myself with. Only to find out that apparently the only thing to do in this Japan is buy soda and play video games at the arcade. I'm not complaining about the last part, but still, sometimes the length and time it makes you wait is extensive, and I found myself just standing there after a while, contemplating just what the hell I was doing. With all that said, the world itself becomes very inviting and comforting after a while, and it's within the environments that I can see the charm that has rubbed off on so many. There is an innocence to the world of a not-so-distant past, where you had to memorize phone numbers, use phone booths, and be back in time so as not to upset Ryo's mother. Yes, there are biker gangs, but even they are kind of innocent around the edges, with their corny try-hard dialogue. And speaking of dialogue, you are going to be speaking to a lot of different characters in Shenmue, and almost every single interaction I had was cringe-inducing. The voice acting is terrible, and I would be embarrassed to have anybody walk in on me playing the game during a cutscene. However, even the cheesy dialogue starts to rub off on you after a while. At least it did with me. Shenmue is a game of its time, and perhaps it should have stayed there. There are some classic games that have truly earned the title of timeless. Shenmue is not one of them. Without the blinders of nostalgia, my first time playthrough of Shenmue 20 years after it was originally released revealed that it is a game that pushed the medium forward in many respects, but there are too many archaic design decisions that prevent the game from being enjoyable to the modern day gamer. In some respects, it may very well be one of the first walking simulators, before the term walking simulator was coined, and I feel like the critics of Shenmue are probably the same people who criticize modern walking simulators. I so happen to like walking simulators, which is probably why I still like Shenmue, even with all of the gripes I have with it. It's just that many who play it now won't. With all of that said, it has been a week now since I finished Shenmue, and there is something pushing me to jump right into Shenmue 2, even though I have other classic games to go through at the moment. Perhaps it is the familiarity of the world of Shenmue, and the relaxed nature of its design, that I want to experience again. I give Shenmue an 8 out of 10, and I'm very excited to see the rest of Ryu's story throughout the rest of the series.